Oh, it's over. It's finally over. Welcome to the neutral take. You know who I am, and you know who he is. But I've just Johnny. You take it from here because I need to do something.
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. Take all the time you need. So here we are. Season one of the most expensive and most ambitious show is over. It's finally over. Now, if you're watching this, I assume you've seen the memes and know all the things we could make fun of. However, others have done that already, and we don't want to repeat our mid season review. To that end, everything we said there is true here. It's still garbage, disregards the lore, spits on Tolkien's grave, has no respect for the material, no idea how to write dialogue, and no vision for the material. So let's start with some positives. We got to see the Harfoot village burning. Amazing. We got evil, gender neutral, albino Eminem doing set burning. Great stuff. We relearned how volcanoes work. And I always wondered because in school I didn't really pay attention to the volcano class, so thanks, Amazon. I learned something new. And we learned that the Numenorians must possess submarines because there's no way all these soldiers and horses fit on those three tiny boats. So that's kind of cool. Submarines in Middle Earth. Who knew, right? Am I missing some of the good points, Tony?
Oh well. I also very much like the part where the villagers abandoned a really good position for their highly flammable village. I mean, I was in the British military, but I guess I didn't learn everything there is about strategy and tactics.
Yeah, as someone who's been in the Swiss army, I agree. That was a brilliant move from the villagers. Their version of West Point must be spot on.
Oh yes, and forget about Mithril. We found the best armor of all, main character plot armor. I mean, thank God they were wearing that when Mount Doom erupted. Otherwise, they just end up like Pompey's the rest of the year characters. So, phew.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think about the Balrog?
Oh, well, I'd like to know more about it. I mean, does it like tea or coffee in the morning? I mean, does it exercise or work from home or go to the office or that sort of thing? I mean, one thing's for sure. I mean, it was super unexpected because we've never encountered a Balrog in the depths of dwarven mines in any other context prior to this. I mean, talk about originality, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the Balrog's another great character who could have been fleshed out a bit more. I also loved when Pickle Rick swooped in with Darth Vader's lightsaber and killed Harry Potter on the bridge of the Enterprise. Really cool.
I think you're talking about something else now, Johnny.
Ah, yeah, sorry. I kind of started watching like four different things on the side while Rings of Power was on.
Hey guys, it's Tony George-Owens from the Neutral Take here with a message about my latest charity event. I am doing 100 hours worth of gaming in the month of October. Please, if you can, support my campaign for the Children's Society. There are lots of vulnerable children out there that need all the support and help that they can get. In difficult times, I know it's very hard to justify giving money to charity, but for vulnerable people and especially vulnerable children, it's even more difficult. So please, follow the link in the description below and support my campaign and come watch me on Twitch making an ass of myself as I try and play some video games. Because as most of my friends know, I'm only casual and that's putting it lightly. So yeah, come and have a laugh at my expense, but please also donate to the charity. Thanks very much guys and enjoy the rest of the video.
I mean, in all seriousness, it's a snooze fest. Besides all the ridiculous choices, the terrible writing, and all that, it's just boring. I mean, I've written better stories when I was 12 and used a typewriter.
I actually believe you. But it, yeah, this was just terrible. But what annoyed me more in the second half of the season was just that nothing that happened really kind of makes any sense. Like, time is a complete mystery in Middle Earth because one minute you're at sea, miles away from the shore, and literally Galadriel and Isildur talk about how far away they are and how long they've been travelling and how long it's taken to get there. So, on these boats that you've said clearly don't have the capacity to hold them, their armies, their horses, or the weaponry, or their armour, or the food or the water that they would need to get from A to B. Like, key things that you kind of logistically need to think about when you're going to war. And again, are they going to war, or are they just going to see what's happening, or what? They don't actually know themselves, so, better take tons more of people just in case on these submarines that they must be using. Totally. And then suddenly, in this small remote location with characters that Galadriel or nobody on these ships, or this touring party that they've got, doesn't have a link to whatsoever, other than the fact that there's this one random emotion-stricken elf who actually is nothing really linked to Galadriel. I don't think they actually know each other, because he's a member of their vast armies, and she's a general who's been going off, Sauron hunting all this time. So yeah, they have no real connection other than their race. But suddenly, yeah, this tiny little village has been overwhelmed by Uruk-hai. But don't worry, here comes said Galadriel to save the day, and with everyone and everything that she needs. And did you notice how she turned night into day? I mean, that's some skill. I mean, even Gandalf would be proud of that. And then there's also this small child that she doesn't know from anyone, apart from the fact that he gave the enemy the weapon that they've been looking and searching for. And, Galadriel's been trying to save these people, and then this kid gives them what they've been looking for. But don't you worry, because Galadriel sees enough in him to make him a soldier and arm him with elven weaponry and say, everything will be all right, come with me. Like, yeah, I would totally do that if I was in her shoes. Who wouldn't do that for the guy who's basically given the enemy a massive advantage and what they've been seeking for since the time of Morgoth, their own land? I mean, what the was that as well? The reveal of Mordor. It's like they got to the editing stage and realised we didn't actually say this was Mordor, even though it's obvious to anybody that watches or knows anything about Lord of the Rings. So they just gave it to like some random intern to put some text up and change it from Southlands to Mordor. It's just off, right?
Yeah.
Like that's 700 million or that they've spent on this show. Totally worth it, right?
Yeah, I think it was even more, but yeah.
Well, I'll breathe and let you carry on.
Just insane. So yeah, all the things you mentioned are very much true. What bugged me, among all the other things, was the core story, and I'm using huge air quotes here. So the story of Galadriel and Sauron. So she would have seen through him immediately. I mean, it's in the source material. In the Fellowships of the Ring, both in the book and the movie, it's explained that Galadriel can see into people's hearts, no matter if human, elf, dwarf, or hobbit. So this mystery of who's Halbrand, it's so lame because first we all know it, and secondly she would have seen through it, and it's recycled. Like they recycle so many lines and tropes, like the thing with the lineage, and they recycle it from the Hobbit movies, which I guess now in comparison seem like flawless masterpieces. So in The Hobbit, Bard figures out who Thorin is by looking at the tapestry of his lineage, just like Galadriel does with Halbrand. It's so cheap. And again, she would have seen his heart immediately. But I guess she's not perfect whenever it's needed for the plot. Again, using the biggest air quotes possible. And then there's Gandalf. So in actuality, he and the other Istari arrived on a ship to Middle-earth with all his wits about him, because he was sent with a clear mission: defeat Sauron. So why they went with this, he fell from the sky, has like Jason-born style amnesia, needs to be saved by dirty, sadistic hippies, it's just beyond me. I mean, I guess it's to introduce the Harfoots and to elevate, copy-paste Frodo Nori and introduce the Hobbit's ancestors. I don't know. But the best part, and again, using huge air quotes, is Elrond and Durin, because they really try. And the dwarf has an amazing accent. But even here, it's supposed to be Celebrimbor who has a special connection with the dwarves as Khazad-dûm and not Elrond. And the whole Mithril saving the elves light storyline, just utter nonsense.
I know what you mean. Like I tried to have some hope midway through. So like, dare I ask, like, about scoring this? I mean, we have to. But we also have to bear in mind that, She-Hulk did make you tap out, and if you've not seen that video, go check it out and see why Johnny tapped out. But yeah, so like, if 0 is the lower end of the scale and She-Hulk, and then let's say like 10 is Game of Thrones season 1, what are we going to actually give this? I mean, this is the scores on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes at the moment at the time of filming. So, Johnny, what are you giving it?
This is a 1 out of 10 for me. The 1 is because the music tries hard, does all the heavy lifting, and New Zealand's landscape is beautiful. But I cannot in good conscience give this more because it's bottom of the barrel. This is some of the most atrocious writing ever, especially considering the source material and the budget.
I couldn't agree more. It's got a great soundscape, and I mean, you look at the names that they've got in the soundscape. They're quality people doing a quality job. You get what you pay for with them. Why didn't you do that with your writers? And I don't know. I just don't know. So yeah, totally agree. And like I said, I gave it hope for the wiggle room in the mid-season, but they've let me down. And I think there's plenty of people out there that feel the same. So I also give it a turderific 1. And pray that it either gets cancelled or, best case scenario, we get huge improvement. But I mean, what can they do? They've spent so much money on this series. Like, they've got to try and pull it out of the bag somehow, because you can't just cancel it. Could they cancel, a near $1 billion thing?
No. I mean, they're already doing damage control because the backlash from fans has been so vocal. I think even they learned, okay, people don't seem to love it as much as we do. And of course, their reaction is the same with Disney. They're attacking the fans just like they did back in February, calling everyone who criticizes it a racist, misogynist, or troll. The showrunners even called fans or critics who don't like it patently evil. It's not surprising that's what's happening now in Hollywood, right? Disney started this and now Amazon is following suit. Yeah, they cannot allow any criticism. We're just patently evil. So I think they're going to double down and just continue because they think they're doing a great job. They think they're saving racism and everything. So, yeah, I think they're just going to continue. So I don't really have a lot of hope that they're going to improve this.
Well, there you have it, folks. We're there at the end, and that is our view of this utter train wreck. And that's about as best as you could say for it. Is you kind of can't stop watching because you want to see a good outcome. But it's just I've driven past, and I hope I never get to see anything so horrific ever again. So I hold out hope for season 2, but I'm not counting on it, as is Johnny. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on the Rings of Power? I'm hoping that it's similar to us. I mean, there are some people out there that have the exact same opinions as us, but also kind of like it in a way. And I get it. It's that world. But it deserves better, doesn't it? Surely. Let us know in the comment section down below. And if you've enjoyed this video and want to see more, then like and subscribe and share it to your friends. And don't know about Johnny, but I'm going to go lie down and maybe drink some whiskey for about a week until we get to the end of House of the Dragon, which should hopefully lift our spirits. We hope.
Oh yeah, it absolutely will. And I'm going to rewatch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended version.
That sounds perfect. So yeah, whiskey first to recover. Watch the original Lord of the Rings, the end of House of Dragon, review that, and drink more whiskey to celebrate. Hey, whiskey all around.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for watching The Neutral Take, guys. Take care. See you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.